This is Tanisha's Beauty Supply, bringing you more information about being or becoming a beauty supply owner. How do you open a beauty supply store with $5,000 or less? Well, if you ever heard the saying, if it's too good to sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Well, you cannot open a beauty supply store with $5,000 or less. However, you can open a beauty supply booth with $5,000 or less. So I'm going to go through that with you. And I don't want you to be discouraged about opening a beauty supply booth because that is the absolute best way to learn the business. Okay. So, why is it important to start with something like a booth or even a suite? It doesn't have to be a booth. It could be a suite. It could be a rental table somewhere. You know, sometimes you'll see people on the corner selling purses. You'd be surprised at how much money those people make. For some reason, in busy cities, when you set up a table on the corner, the same purses that I would sell, like I'd sell this purse here for $34.99, they get away with selling it for $50. It's something about that audience that will stop, pull up their car, and do that impulsive buy. And sometimes they'll even come to me and buy the purse basically retail because they know they can get way more than what I'm charging for it. So don't underestimate standing on the corner with the table selling product. So if you are selling something like a purse or necklace or something like that, then why not throw in some beauty supply products? Everyone uses them, and it'll be a wonderful way that you can start off learning the business. One thing I will tell you about being in the beauty supply business, it is an industry that you must learn. Because if you don't learn the industry, you'll waste a lot of money, you'll waste a lot of energy, and you'll waste a lot of time. Beauty supply product is something that you have to go hard or go home. So if you start with something like a booth, it allows you to scaffold your way up the ladder without all of the high overhead, without spending a ton of money on product. Because if you have a booth, you might only need to stock about 30 different products and maybe 10 of each of those products, three of each of those products to get you started, to get you to help you to learn what your audience is going to like. But when you open a store, you have to have hundreds, sometimes thousands of different products, and you have to have multiple amounts of those products. Okay. So, starting with the booth, sometimes if you live in a city, there's booths everywhere. There are flea markets everywhere. So just play with those. They're only about $10 or $20 to rent those most of the time. I know that in some of the busier cities where they have the huge flea markets, it might cost you $200 a month, but it's worth it to learn your audience, and it'll allow you to carry a variety of things. For example, you'll carry your beauty supply products, but you also will be able to start your wigs, carry your wigs. And if you're interested in this particular wig that I have on, because I always showcase a wig in my videos, it is on my website site at tanishasbeautysupply.com. It's a bone straight wig. It's two-tone, and the number is F5134S, F513 or FS134S, FS134S. The color is FF1B/30. She's only $59.99. You get $10 off, and there's no shipping. So $49.99 out the door, and this is a beautiful fake scalp wig that you can add to your collection. So getting back to the beauty supply store for $5,000. So let's just go over some of those numbers for you. Um, when you locate your booth or your corner or your suite in a building, Then you can start to get your website. You can get a website from GoDaddy for a little bit of money. I think a website might be $300 for the year. And if that much, it might be 100. I can't remember, but it's really cheap. And you can build it yourself step by step. That way, while you're having your beauty supply booth or suite, your small suite that doesn't have a lot of rent attached to it, you can also be selling online. You could be building your YouTube channel. Um, and you can go ahead and get your LLC. The filing should not cost you any more than $50 to $75. I know there are websites out there that advertise, for $600, we'll do this, this, and that. You can do all of that yourself. Take your time, and you can do it for $50 to $75 to file with the state. Um, you are going to need business insurance in case anything happens to someone, that they don't come after your personal money. So that usually is $100 or less per month. So that's some of your 5,000. That's very little bit of your $5,000. Moving on to labor. Most of you, if you're starting your beauty supply store, you cannot work your beauty supply store full time. However, you will need to have someone in there because you need to be open. So if you cannot have a family member do it, then you'll need to calculate paying someone to be there. And labor can be one of your biggest costs. Here's a trick to getting around labor. Find someone who will work with you, and maybe you might pay them $5 an hour, but you will allow them to sell their products as well in your store. So that's something you want to think about. Excuse me. There are other ways to get people or get labor. It doesn't always have to be money. So that's going to be part of your $5,000. The most important part of your $5,000 is going to be your product. But I don't want you to go into the beauty supply store and spend all of your money on product because you have no idea what they want yet. And so let's say, for example, this particular spritz right here. Let's say I buy 3 cases of this, which is going to be 36 bottles of this. But in the area that I'm in, it's not this spritz that's the hot seller. It ends up being, and this is just an example, this one. But I've already bought 36 bottles of this. But because I don't know my audience yet, I don't know what they're going to want yet, I spent most of my money on this spritz. Now I don't have a lot of money to get the spritz that's really hot. And sometimes you can buy a product and it's really hot. So I can buy the motion spritz and it's what they're using today. And then a new trend will come out with the hair and they're no longer using this as much. Now they're using this one. And everybody's coming in and asking me for this one because a new style came out or somebody used it or did a demo and now everybody wants this one. So you don't want to take a whole lot of money and spend on one particular product. I would say if you can, buy no more than 6 of everything to get started. So that way, if it's not something that's going to sell, you don't have 36 of them sitting on your shelves for a year or two. Okay. So that's a benefit of starting poor, is because you don't just go out and take $40,000 and buy a boatload of stuff, and some of that stuff you don't even end up selling. Okay. So with your product, you want to make sure that you want to make sure that you get a variety of products and that you do your research. Ask people what they use, but you're not going to really find out what they use until they start shopping with you. So you want to try to get a variety of things. Okay. Why is it important that you go ahead and do this, even though it may not be a storefront? We as African Americans, we got to get in the game. Our Black lives matter, but people will not really pay us any attention until we talk with our economics. So we've got to get in the game. We are 90% of the customers, and yet we only own maybe 3% of the stores. That is, we're in that situation, we're not mattering. We're mattering in the fact that we're the spender, but as you notice in many of the Asian beauty supply stores, they're rude to us. Why? Because they know you can't just go down the street and go to Tanisha's, because Tanisha is the only black store owner 50 in a 50-mile radius. So the more that we get into owning these beauty supply stores, the more we are going to matter. So that's important. It's lucrative. The beauty supply business is lucrative. Now, it's not that you're going to make a ton of money on your products. You're not going to make a ton of money on your products, but you are going to make good money. Where you're going to make a ton of money is on your pack hair, your items, fashion items, clothing, your handbags, your wallets, your sunglasses, your jewelry, and of course your wigs and your high grade bundles. That's where you're going to make a ton of money. Now, some people, they choose to only do bundles. I don't want to be at the mercy of one product, because if anything shifts with that hair, if black people decide, you know what, we've had enough, no more of other people's hair, we're going to go natural. Then if my entire store is built on bundles, now I've got to scram, and I've got to go, and I've got to change over, and I may not have the capital to do that. So I say mix it up. Get it all. Just get a little bit of everything. And that way, when the market changes or the trend changes, you'll be able to stay in business. So I hope that I have given you something that will be useful. I want you to open your beauty supply products, even if you have to start in a booth, even if you have to start in a flea market. I will tell you, the Mexicans are doing it. The Mexicans are, if you ever visit the flea market in Chicago, starts with an S. I can't remember the name of it, and that's sad because I do visit it. But if you ever visit there, the Mexicans don't wear this most of the time. Not this brand. They don't tend to wear this brand. They don't tend to wear this. We wear it. But they are cleaning up on their beauty supply stores in the flea market. So look at those flea markets. Pay attention to those. But you want to get a flea market that's located near a lot of African Americans if you're going to carry these products. And go ahead and open. And it could be a learning experience. I'm not saying you're going to go in there and get rich at the flea market, but you are going to learn. And then you're going to be able to take that money and get your brick and mortar, and then you'll get rich. So I encourage you, please hit subscribe so you can get more content. Please share the video, and please like, trying to get our goal of 1,000 subscribers. So please hit subscribe, ring the notification, or hit the notification bell so that you can get more content. And if you have any questions that I'm able to help you with, don't hesitate to ask. And I really encourage you on your journey. African Americans, let's open more beauty supplies. Every day, let's open a beauty supply store. Thank you.